Today we'll be learning in Shem Daf Lametes Amud Aleph. We also have to finish off a bit of Lamed Ches Amud Beis. We had a discussion over here between Rabbi, who said that Rabbi holds is a Isser of Hachona. He holds as an Isser of Hachona from Yom Tov to Shabbos and from Shabbos to Yom Tov. And Rabbi holds is the Isser of Hachona of preparing from Shabbos to Yom Tov and from Yom Tov to Shabbos. Now, not everything is included in the Isser HaLachona. This is the Isser of the Reishavik Isser, and not everything is considered the Isser HaLachona. It has to be a bit of a meaningful Pu'ula to be considered Hachona from Yom Tov to Shabbos. And so therefore, the Rabbi's opinion was that even though, for instance, a Beitza which was born on Yom Tov, you can't use it on Shabbos, because being born is a meaningful Pu'ula. So therefore, it's born on Yom Tov, so it means Yom Tov was meichen for Shabbos. No, Yom Tov cannot be meichen for Shabbos. So that's why you can't use the egg which was born on Yom Tov because Yom Tov was meichen for Shabbos. And similarly also, we learned yesterday that Rabbi was mechalek b'negeya to an Eruv that you could make an Eruv. You can make an Eruv on the second day. When you make an Eruv for the second day, like say Yom Tov and Shabbos, they follow one another. So when you make an Eruv for the second day, so you do that on the first day. In other words, if you have Yom Tov and it's followed by Shabbos, so you're making the Eruv for Shabbos, you're going to do that on Yom Tov. You're going to have to put it there on Yom Tov, or put it there, or put yourself there, because you can either make an Eruv by by putting food there, or if you are personally there, then you don't need to put food there. That also constitutes an Eruv. You're there, Ben Hashmoshes. That means this is your center of where your koine shvisa. This is where I'm living by being there. I don't even have to bring food. If I'm not there, then I put food. So there's two ways: by food or by being there. And Rabbi was mechalek, and he said like this: that if you can make the Eruv without saying something, that is not an important enough function, and it's not considered being a meichen from Yom Tov to Shabbos. So if I put bread there, which the bread was already there the first day, and let's say I took it away because I didn't want to get stolen, then I bring it back. So if the bread was there the first day, I made it for the first day of the bread, then I bring it back on the second day. So it does not need, you don't need to say this should be koine shvisa. You don't need to say that it should be koine shvisa. And since you don't need to say that it should be koine shvisa, because it's just the same Eruv, and you're just you already said it before, that's ready from before. So therefore you don't have to say it. So that just the act of putting back the act of putting back the bread into the place, that is not considered hachana. If you have to say something, I want this to be koine shvisa, then that would be considered an important act of hachana, and then you can't do it the Yom Tov Shabbos. Then we had, what about the person if he comes there himself? Now, the person comes there himself, so but the bread, it's more poshet. But the bread, it's more poshet that you put bread there that's the bread which was there before, that it's more partial. You don't have to say anything. But when you put it there for the second day, when you put it there on the first day for the second day, you don't say anything. But when you stay there by yourself without any bread, so initially the Gemara thought that you do have to say, I'm coming here on this. I'm coming here before Ben Hashmoshes of the second day. I'm coming here to be Kohen Shvisa. That's what originally it was the Svar in the Gemara. But then the Gemara says that as long as the person is awake, if he's asleep, Taka, he's not Kohen Shvisa. Being asleep because he can't, there's no das there and so on. So there's not Kohen Shvisa. But if he's awake, a person's awake, he does not actually have to say his Kohen Shvisa. The Kitzer, since he does not have to say anything, then it's not considered hachana. If you would have to say something, then that would be considered hachana. And therefore, we didn't learn that. I don't think we learned it clearly in the Gemara, but we will see it in today's Gemara. But if, for instance, if you're bringing a new piece of bread, the person's there by himself, or the person's there by himself, so and he's awake. So we just said you don't need to say anything when you make the Eruv for the second day. When a person brings the old piece of bread which is there from the evening before, he brings it there, you also have to say anything. You do not have to say anything. It should be finished. But if you're bringing a new piece of bread on the second day, which was not brought before, then you would have to say it should be finished. If you bring a new piece of bread, then that would be not permitted because you'd be making from Yom Tov to Shabbos. Because you have to say something. Because when you bring a new piece of bread, then if it's just bringing the old one, you don't have to say something. So that is the concept that hachana, it has to be a certain meaningful act to be considered hachana. A lesser act is not considered hachana. That's what we have. Okay. Abaya has been asking questions on this whole the Rabbi being mechalek between the different types of achana. So Abaya was asking questions before in the Gemara. Now we continue, and we're on the third line from the bottom of the page. Omalei Rabbi bar Rav Chonin Abaya. It says like this: He have a shmil on the mar. If Rabbi teacher would have heard Chodatanya, lo yahalach adam l'seif sadeo leda mai tzricha, that one is in Shabbos, one should not go to the edge of his field, next to the field, to check out, to see what needs to be fixed after Shabbos. So you're going on Shabbos to check out what things need to be done the weekday, because you can't do them on Shabbos. And so you're just going to look. You're not going to do anything, of course, but just going to look. So you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to go next to your field and check out what needs to be done. Similarly, you shouldn't go to the entrance of the city. It's in order to be able to go into the merchatz. So it's before the end of Shabbos. He wants to go into the merchatz, the bathhouse. The bathhouse is outside the city. So he goes to the gates of the city, and that's where the bathhouse is. And he's waiting for Shabbos to go out, so he can go straight into the merchatz. So again, he's preparing on Shabbos for after Shabbos. So these things are considered preparing for Shabbos or after Shabbos, and you're not allowed to do that. So, so we see over here that even these smaller acts, these minor acts, he's not saying anything. He's just walking. So just the walking itself is considered hachana from Shabbos to the weekday. So it's considered hachana. So if Rabbi would have known this pricer that is considered hachana, he would have changed his mind, and he would have not been mechalek, because he was mechalek. He can walk, because when you walk, you don't have to say anything, etc. All this discussion which we had before. So because just walking itself is also considered hachana. So that's who said that. That's what Rabbi Bachonin said to Abaye. The Gemara says, "V'lohi," it's not true. Sorry, it's incorrect. That Shamalei, Rabbi did know this brisa, and did not change his mind. Why? Because the act of walking next to your field is a more visible hachana. It's a more prominent or visible hachana. I don't know which words to use exactly, which is more appropriate. So either it's a more prominent and more visible hachana than walking to the Eruv, because it says Hasam Mucha Milse. In the case of going to the edge of the field or to next to the base merchas, so it's visible that he's preparing. So it's not just the act of walking, but it's visible that he's actually preparing. So that is considered hachana. Since it's visible, that is considered hachana, and you're not allowed to do that. Hacha, the case of the Eruv, even though he's going there, so the walking is the same. There's no much difference in that. It it's not so visible that he's doing that in order to prepare to make an Eruv there. It's not walking there in order there should be an Eruv. It's not visible. Everybody knows the bathhouse is over here. He's standing next to the bathhouse. He's preparing himself to go to a bath. He's standing next to the field. Of course, he's checking out the field, what to do. He's standing next to some place where he wants to stay there, or the shkir. It doesn't prove that his there's no big sign there, Eruv place Eruv over here or something like that. It's not visible he's doing for the Eruv. Maybe he's doing for some other reason. Maybe I think Mara suggests Itzur Merabanan here. If it's a Talmud Chacham, he's he wants to think through his pilpul or whatever it is and clarify it. He's walking out to this. Nobody should bother him. He's walking out going for a bit of a walk. He wants peace and quiet to be able to think through things. That's if it's a Talmud Chacham. What else is a Talmud Chacham doing? He's thinking through Torah, yeah. The Imam Haaretz, if it's Haaretz, no, he can't be Choshed Haaretz. He's thinking through Torah. He doesn't have so much to think about. So Amrina would say Chamri Irchastei. Oh, so even Haaretz, people say, probably he lost his Chamer. He's looking for his donkey. No, looking for a donkey. It's not the Hachana to Chil Shabbos, because even if you find a donkey, you can bring it back in a way which is Mutter and Shabbos. So so maybe he's looking for his donkey, and but you don't see that he's going to make an Eruv over there, and so therefore, since it's not so visible as an act of preparation, it's not considered hachana. So, and therefore, the walking will be permitted. So that will be the opinion of Rabbi. He won't change his mind, and he differentiates between if you have to say something that's considered hachana from Yom Tov to Shabbos and you're not permitted, and if you can make the Eruv without saying anything, that is not considered hachana. And then, just to mention what I said, that if you make a new Eruv for the first day and for the second day, that needs speaking, and with food, if you put food that needs speaking, and then that would not be permitted. It will be a chana from Yom Tov to Shabbos. Okay, go for what before. Amar Rabbi Huda said, so this is part of it. Will not before, not all of it. So Amar Rabbi Huda, Iruv berangva b'yom rishon, ma'ar berangva b'sheni. So that it's two kedushas. Rabbi Huda says it's two kedushas, and therefore, if you made the Eruv on the first day, you have to walk again on the second day to make the Eruv. Iruv pas b'yom rishon. If you make bread the first day, ma'ar pas b'yom sheni. So you have to put the bread back there on the second. You have to on the second day as well. Iruv pas b'rishon. If you made the bread the first day, ma'ar berangva b'sheni. You can the second night. You don't have to bring the bread back. If you want, you can just stay there during the shkir time and become that itself your koine shvisa. That means that's just Shabbos like a place but just being there for the Ben Hashmoshes period. If the first day he did it not by bread, but first day he did it by being present there during the time of the shkir. So Ein ma'ariv pas b'sheni. You cannot bring bread and in the second day, because maybe he wants to bring the bread. He doesn't want to stay there the whole shkir time. So he just bring the bread and put it there, or he's sending to a shliach, whichever it is. And so so you cannot. If the first time he walked there was went in this kohen shvisa by actually being there, you cannot be kohen shvisa by bringing some bread over there on the second day. Why? Because you cannot. You cannot make bread with the. You cannot make a new area with bread. You can't do that on from Yom Tov to Shabbos. And in a few lines later in the Gemara, we'll see why. You cannot put the bread. Eruv pas b'yom rishon. If you made the bread the first day, ma'ariv pas b'yom sheni. If you made bread the first day, you can make the air with the bread the second day. Sorry, it's a quote. So now we're quoting that piece. So this is what we had beforehand in what Rabbi Huda said. So that if you ma'ariv pass on the first day, bread you can make with bread on the second day. So if you walk the first day, you were there, you can't make bread the second day. Make bread the first day, you can make bread. So Amar Shmuel, on this halacha that you can make bread with the second day as well, Amar Shmuel pass, and with the same bread. So Shmuel said it has to be with the same bread. You cannot use another bread. Like we mentioned before, since it's the same bread, therefore you don't have to talk. We don't have to talk because it's a bread which was already made once for an Erev, so therefore it's not called achana. Whereas if like I said before, if you the first time you walk there and then you're baking a new bread that is going to have to be you have to speak and say that this bread is for Tikkun Shvisa, and then that will be considered hachon. And let me add that the same thing will also apply if you made the bread the first time. It's clear. It just said it has to be the same bread. If you made bread the first time and you change the bread, again you'll have to speak. So that's the concept. That if it's a new bread which was not used before, you'll have to speak and say you should be kohen with this bread shvisa. That's why you can't do that from Shabbos. Rav Ashi says they can have pasnisin. It's we can see that in the Mishnah. We can see that this is the principle. The Ketonian says Kates lo Isa. The Mishnah says how do you make it according to Rabbi Yehuda? According to the Chacham says how you should make the Erev for 2 days. He brings it there first day and he lets the Erev stay over till the end of Ben Shmoshes, and then he brings it back. It takes it. Then he comes the next day. And he puts the bread there, and then he can eat it after it gets after Tzitz Kechavim, he can eat it. And it can eat it, and then it can come back into the city. So we see in the Mishnah that it has to be the same bread. Because he took the bread back, and then later you bring the bread. So it's clear from the Mishnah that it's the same bread. So it's a proof to Shmuel that the same bread, and therefore it's a proof to the whole concept. It's a proof to the whole concept of that if you have to speak, then it's called achana. If you don't have to speak, that's not called achana. And where's the proof from the Mishnah? Okay, so now the Gemara is going to ask a question: V'Rabbanon. What about the Rabbanon, the Abaya and the Rabbi Chonin, who were giving trouble to Rabbi, and they were asking all different questions, and they did not agree to this whole difference between if you have to speak, you don't have to speak, and so on. So, but it's a Mishnah. It's a Mishnah that says that it's the same bread. It's a Mishnah. So this the Yesod of rabbis in the Mishnah. How can they not agree with him? So the Gemara says no. The Dilma Hasam Eitz Tova Kamashma. That because maybe the Mishnah is just Eitz Tova. The Mishnah is just saying how you should save yourself and bring another bread. Take it back. you can leave it there, and then tomorrow you have to bring another one because maybe it's gone. But the Mishnah is just saying, save the guy. You should take the same bread back and then bring it again. But if you bring a different bread, it's also good, and it's also permissible to do in such a way. So therefore, they did not think that you can bring a raya from the Mishnah to that chiluk of which Rabbi was making. Now, Mishnah Rabbi Huda says, now we're going to talk about Rosh Hashanah. So Rosh Hashanah, we have again. Sometimes you have 2 days of Rosh Hashanah, and then again comes this whole issue whether Rosh Hashanah, the 2 days of Rosh Hashanah, is Kedusha Achas or basic Kedushas. Right. So Rashi says we're talking about the Goylik Kamari. We are talking. This mission is talking about in Golos. So in Golos we have 2 days Rosh Hashanah. So that's what it's talking about. Not Eretz Yisrael. Okay. Okay. Rabbi Huda says Rosh Hashanah Shoyori Shema Tzaber. It's a Rosh Hashanah, right? Nowadays we are sure it's 2 days, but Rosh Hashanah, since you don't know whether it's going to be 1 day Rosh Hashanah or 2 days Rosh Hashanah, so therefore we're going to have to keep that. I have to keep 2 days before it's been set. The player I have to keep in the goal, so I have to keep 2 days because I'm worried. I'm not sure which day they will make. It depends on Yerushalayim which day they'll make as Rosh Hashanah. Is Ma'ariv Adam Shnei Erev. So therefore, then you can make 2 Eruvin in different directions. Each day you can make a different Eruvin. Eruvin Berishan and Mizrah. First day the Mizrah, Sheni L'Ma'ariv. Second day Ma'ariv. Berishan L'Ma'ariv Sheni Mizrah. Or Eruvin Berishan B'Sheni K'nei Erev. Shiboni the first day is the Erev. The second day I'll be like the rest of the city. The Eruv should not. I don't want this Eruv to be effective for the second day. Eruv b'sheni b'rishon k'bnei Erev. I want the Eruv to be effective for the second day, and the first day should not be effective. I should have the same tchum. I should be able to walk in all directions like people from the city. So therefore, Kitzur, it's 2 separate days and it's 2 separate Eruvin, and that's what the Rabbi Huda says. In other words, Beis Kedushas. The 2 days of Rosh Hashanah are Beis Kedushas. The loy hoidu lechacham. The chacham did not agree. They held its Kedusha Achas. Okay. And therefore it's 1 area for both days. The Eid Amar Rabbi Huda said, "Masna Adam HaKol B'Yontav," that the person can on a basket, person can make a t'nai, and you have to take Trumas and Maestras. Now you cannot take Trumas and Maestras on. You cannot take Trumas and Maestras on Yontav. So what can a person do? They'll take Truma the first day. He forgot to take Truma before Yontav. Forgot to take Truma for the Yontav. So there comes the first day Yontav. He'll take Truma. He says, if today is Yontav, then it should not be Truma. If today is Yontav, then it should not be Truma. And tomorrow it should become Truma. Right. So that means I'll be able to do it tomorrow. If today is not Yontav, so it should become Truma today. I can't have it, and then I'll be able to eat it. I'll be able to eat it tomorrow. I mean, I can eat it today as well, but I don't know if today is Yom Tov or not. So therefore, today I can't eat it. So by taking, you can take Truma on the first day, and you'll be able to eat it the second day. If the day was Yom Tov, he's saying that Truma should be Chal the second day, and so the second day, which is not Yom Tov, and the second day is not Yom Tov. Therefore, you can eat. Therefore, it can be Chal on the second day. It's fine, and he can eat it. It's not really Yom Tov. He doesn't know it, but if he says, but if the day is not Yom Tov, so his day should be Chal. So the kids around about him, when it comes to the second day, he's guaranteed that Truma is taken on either on that day or the day before, and therefore it's fine. He can eat. But Kitzur is again because you consider the 2 days as 2 separate days, not as one unit. If it's one unit, you would not be able to make Truma from Rosh Hashanah to Rosh Hashanah. It's the same Yom Tov, the middle of Yom Tov, right? So, okay. So Masal Adam HaKol Yom Tov Rishon v'Eichel b'Sheni. Eat the second day. Chen, same thing also. Beitz Shnei B'Rishon Eichel b'Sheni. Again, the same issue because Beitz, which is the first day, the second day Memonashach. Which is the Yom? If the second day is Yom Tov, so the Beitz was not going to be Yom. if the first day is Yom Tov, so the second day you can eat anyway. The Smail will be Yom Tov, but the second day is not Yom Tov. The Loy Hoydel Chacham, again, they held it. Chacham held it Kedusha Achas. We know that Rosh Hashanah is Yom HaRichta, and that is the Chacham here. You have the Shit of the Chacham that it's Yom HaRichta. It's all one day, Rosh Hashanah. Therefore, you can't have it to Eruvin, and you can't. This trick of making truma is effective for all other Yom Tovim. You can do that, and other Yom Tovim you can do that, but on Rosh Hashanah you cannot do that, because all other days of Yom Tov are Safek, which is the correct day, and Mashenki Yom Tov, Rosh Hashanah is Yom HaRichta. Okay. Rabbi Sivan Hokna Seimer, however, from the table beyond Rosh Hashanah. If you go to the Shlich Tzibor, he says, "Hachlitzena Hashem lekenas Yom Rish Chodesh Hazeh." So that is Im Hayoim Im Lamocher, or Lamocher Im Hayoim Im Emsh. So he should mention Rish Chodesh and say if today is Chodesh or tomorrow is Chodesh. Again, if you're going there, you don't know which day is Chodesh, the first and second day. So you're keeping 2 days Rosh Hashanah, but you don't know which one's Chodesh. So you say you mention Rish Chodesh and say it's either today or tomorrow, or today or yesterday. Okay. We will learn later what exactly the Chacham did not agree. Anyway, so we have over here the opinion of that Rosh Hashanah is Yom HaRichta. Now, this is not the same machlekes, as it's different than the Yom HaRichta and so on, which we spoke about Yom Tov and Shabbos. Because as I think we'll soon see, there is a difference between why, or the reasonings why we should say it's Yom HaRichta or not. Because we have a Yom Tov and Shabbos afterwards. We had before that Rav said halacha is it's not considered Yom HaRichta, it's considered like 2 days. The Poel, on Rosh Hashanah, we paskin like the opinion that it is a Yom HaRichta. We paskin like Chacham, it's Yom HaRichta. So because it's as we'll soon see, it's different. There's a different issue involved when it comes to Rosh Hashanah. Who is the loy hoydel chacham who hold that it is a Yom HaRichta? Rav says Rabbi Yossi. That's Rabbi Yossi. The Tanya Kalant and Brisa Meidach Chacham Rabbi Lazar. Chacham agreed to Rabbi Lazar, but Rosh Hashanah that they agreed to Rabbi Lazar that you can do two. Yeah, the Chacham agreed to Rabbi Lazar that you can do. It's Rosh Hashanah is like 2 days. Rabbi Lazar said before it's 2 kedushas, right? And the Chacham argued and said if you have Yom Tov and Shabbos, it's 1 kedusha. Now, the Chacham agreed to Rabbi Lazar that the 2 days of Rosh Hashanah are 2 separate days. So that's it inside. It was a Rosh Hashanah, sure, maybe it will become it'll be 2 days Rosh Hashanah. So Ma'arav Adam, the kids on the 2 days of Rosh Hashanah, Ma'arav Adam Shnei Eruvin. You can make 2 Eruvin, the first day in one direction, the second day in another direction. Berishon Lamayra, B'Shein Lemizrach, Eruv Berishon or B'Shein Kibnei Iri, Eruv B'Shein or Berishon Kibnei Iri. The Kitzur, you have it's 2 separate Eruvin. You can go to 2 different directions, or to have 1 day Eruv, 1 day non-Eruv. Yeah, it's up to you. It's because it's 8 kedushas. That is the Chachamim. They agree to Rabbi Lazar that Rosh Hashanah is not 2 kedushas. Rabbi Yossi Oyser, he says us. He says it's 1 kedusha. So this is man lo hoydel chachamim. Who's the lo hoydel chachamim? Who are the lo hoydel chachamim? Who said, which is the Mishnah, which says it's kedusha achas. This is this Rabbi Yossi who says it's kedusha achas. Rabbi Yossi said to them, don't you not agree? Shimatim bo edim minchal amayla shenoigim oisayim kodesh ulamachar kodesh. Do you not agree that even in Yerushalayim and even the times of Beit Hamikdash, certainly in the times of Beit Hamikdash. So if the Edom came a bit late after 12 o'clock, they come after 12 o'clock, so then you have 2 days Rosh Hashanah. So therefore Rosh Hashanah, even when you know the second day is the real day of Rosh Hashanah, because the Edom come after 12 o'clock. So the Edom come after 12 o'clock, so you know that this day is not Rosh Hashanah, because I didn't explain that the Edom come after 12 o'clock. The best doesn't let him in, and Rosh Chodesh is going to start from the second day. There's a whole thing because once was the they got mixed up. The Edom came after the Edom came after the mincha, and therefore they confused and they said the wrong shir for the mincha. So therefore, from then on, the Bezdin would not accept Edom come the afternoon. If it comes in the morning, fine. If it comes in the afternoon, they would not accept. So they would not accept the Edom, and that for sure. When the Bezdin is going to say Mekudesh HaChodesh Mekudesh on the second day, and nevertheless you have to keep the first day. So what do you see? That even the second day is Rosh Hashanah, and we know it's Rosh Hashanah. The first day is I didn't explain something. When they don't let you come, you still have to finish off Rosh Hashanah and keep Rosh Hashanah. You're not allowed to do Malach and all that. So even though Rosh Chodesh is going to be the second day, still you will have to. I'm missing here. I should have said it earlier. What happens is on Rosh Hashanah, when it comes the first day Rosh Hashanah, people don't know if it's going to be real Rosh Hashanah or not. In Yerushalayim, they don't know it's going to be real Rosh Hashanah. So of course they'll do all the weekday davening, but they will keep Rosh Hashanah. They won't do any malacha. So it's going to be also the malacha till so it's also malacha. And why? Maybe the Edom will come, because Edom will come, let's say 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock, and then Bezdin will say Mekudesh HaChodesh Mekudesh. So Bezdin will say Mekudesh HaChodesh Mekudesh. It means the whole day was Rosh. If the whole this is Rosh Chodesh, the whole day. So from last evening it's Rosh. So therefore you have to take the precaution and not do any melacha from the evening. So you keep it as Rosh Hashanah and right, because the Edom might come, so you keep it right from the beginning. Now, what happens if the Edom came too late? So the Edom came too late, and Bez is not going to let them in. So you know that the second day is a real Rosh Hashanah. You know, because Rosh Chodesh is going to start from the second day, but still you have to. It's also the law. You still have to keep it as Rosh Hashanah. Chacham did not allow you to. You have to keep it. So what do we see? So we see, even though the second day Rosh Hashanah is Rosh Hashanah, the first day is also Kodesh like Rosh Hashanah. So you see, it's one Kedusha, because the second day, what's it Kodesh for? It's Kodesh because of Rosh Hashanah. No, and the second day is the real Rosh Hashanah. So therefore, it's one Kedusha. The kids transfer. So that is the fact that we keep, even though when we know for sure, we don't keep it as a soft. Like you say in the morning, you can say keep it because it's soft. I'm not sure. So maybe it's not Rosh Hashanah. But the second, when it comes after the afternoon, it's not the real Rosh Hashanah, and you still have to keep it. So it's not Pshat Sofik Rosh Hashanah. It's Vadai Chayev to behave like Rosh Hashanah, and Rosh Hashanah is on the second day. So it's one Kedusha, the kids. So that proves one Kedusha. So that's Rabbi says. Right. That's Rabbanon. What do they say? It's not really one Rosh Hashanah. It's not really one Kedusha. Chachamim said you should keep Rosh Hashanah because it's really Rosh Hashanah. It's not the Chachamim. It's not Rosh Hashanah. The Chachamim made it Rosh Hashanah. Didn't make it Rosh Hashanah. He said you should behave like Rosh Hashanah. Why? Because if you start doing Lach, and then people next year, different year, people will come and they say, you know what? Why bother keeping? Last time we kept, it was just a waste of time. So we kept the Rosh Hashanah. We kept it till 1:30. We kept it till 12 o'clock. We kept it, and then 12 o'clock we went and did Malacha. So then let's do Malacha right away. So that's going to cause a zilz. So the Chachamim, they made like a gzeira. It's a gzeira. They didn't didn't make a takana and say this. Okay, we say from now on with the Rabbanon, the Rosh Hashanah is there, even the first. It's always Rosh Hashanah. Unless the Edom come the first day, there will be no second day. But if the Edom comes the second day, there's always that's the con. No, that's not it's Takzeh Ba'alma, because you don't want to get into bad habits. So that's why you told them to do that. So therefore, it's not one Kedusha.